Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel, Diamonds and Washi. This is Katie. If you're new here, hi, welcome. And if you are back, welcome back. I'm glad that you're here. Today I am hopping on to share with you another video in my wax series. And today we're going to be talking about what is one of my very favorite waxes, which is Not Your Mama's Mud, or just mud as some people call it, from the Whimsical Daisies shop over on Etsy. Of course, I will link them below in the description, and I highly encourage you to check them out because, like I said, they're one of my very favorite waxes. I have a few different scents here today that we'll go into in just a second. The tray is from Bella Art de Nicole. This is just a cute little tray that I found at Daiso. And then I have two different pens. I'll explain why in a minute. This pen is from Lazy River Wood Turning, and this is from Bella's. Like I said, I'll link everything in the description below. So, mud, or Not Your Mama's Mud, is an alternative wax that you can use for diamond painting. She restocks her shop through Etsy and has a variety of different scents. And they come in either these wider containers or these, taller, shorter, not tall, sorry, taller, but less wide. So she has all kinds of different colors and usually does a cute little imprint on top and has a really nice variety of scents, which she puts on the bottom. Like this one is Cukes and Melons. So this one is Cinnamon, and I really, really enjoy her scents. I feel like they're just so refreshing and subtle without being overpowering, and they don't smell chemically. They just are really pleasant to work with. So, let me show you how you can go about loading these into your pens. And the reason I have two different pens is because this pen has a regular brass tip, and this one has one of my everlasting tips from a diamond painting lady on Instagram. She has an Etsy shop that I'll link below. It's a stainless steel tip, and I find that it works just a little bit different as far as loading waxes go than the regular brass tips, so I wanted to just show you kind of what that can look like, because I find that even with mud in particular, it can be tricky to load. So let's start with the regular brass tip, and just picking one randomly. This scent is called Love Tropical Style. It just smells really fruity and beachy and happy. I have to smell them, you guys. So you can see that I've used this. As far as loading goes, I haven't cleaned that out. Let me clean that out real quick. Whenever you're loading in a new type of wax, and even if you're loading in a pen that has had Not Your Mama's Mud in it, I recommend cleaning it out first before you reload, because otherwise I have a hard time getting mine to stick, at least. The good news is, for me at least, it lasts for quite a long time, and so I don't have to reload often at all. So how you load, let me see, you can see. So you are just gonna stab it. I find a spot that I haven't stabbed before, and I just stab straight down, basically as far in as I can go. I do a little twist to help kind of cut it cleanly at the bottom, pull it back out, and yep, loaded super cleanly. I always have trouble getting these to come into focus, but you can see that bit of green there at the end. Usually I use my finger to just sort of even it out a bit, because it's not like some other waxes where you scrape. I don't find that to be effective for loading in the brass tips, but there you go. It's good to go. I personally do not find that I have residue problems with mud, but if for whatever reason you are finding that you are having problems with residue, I'll make the same suggestion that I've made with other waxes in the past, which is to either just go with it on your canvas, and if there's a little bit of residue, you can clean it off later with a soft bristle toothbrush. Heck, it might make your drills shine a little bit more. Or if that really drives you crazy, grab like wherever you keep your trash drills or just random drills before you put them wherever you put them, and you can do like a sacrifice drill where you just gently press. You'll see maybe a little bit of residue come out the side, and then pull it off. I even wipe it just to make sure. And that got any excess off. I find that with Not Your Mama's Mud, if I have any residue come off, it tends to come off in just like a little string that's really easy to then just brush off of my kit. Not a big deal. So as far as loading the multi-placer goes, to be completely honest, I really only use one kind of alternative wax in my multi-placers, which I'll get into another week, but I use the Museum Putty. But you can use Not Your Mama's Mud in a multi-placer. I would not recommend trying to do it if you have an everlasting multi-placer, because I find that the Not Your Mama's Mud wants to slide out of it too easily. But in just a regular plastic multi-placer, you can totally do that. It's going to be the same idea where we're just going to stab it. Again, best bet is to find a place you haven't stabbed before. Stab straight down as far as you can go. Do a little wiggle to help it kind of cut off. And this doesn't always work on the first go, but let's see if we got lucky. Hey, look, we did. And there you go. Not Your Mama's Mud loaded into your multi-placer. Again, my go-to with my multi-placer is to then just really gently run my nail over it to flatten it off, like I did just there. And that should leave you with very minimal residue. Yeah, so that's how I would do the multi-placer itself and your regular brass tip. Now, let's talk about everlasting tips. These just generally can work a little bit different than your regular brass tips. The upside to everlasting tips is, of course, that they aren't going to warp or burr or bend, and that's super helpful, but it is still a learning curve to find how to use alternative wax as well. So this is kind of a toss-up for me. I'll load it one of two ways. I will either stab it. Let's see if that even works this time. Same idea, but that did actually work this time. But you might see, oh no, that came out super cleanly. But okay, let me show you. Sometimes I feel like the mud really wants to like slide out of this and it doesn't want to load. So in this case, you can see this is a wax, I've done this before. I will scoop, I'll literally scoop it so that I have like a glop on the end, and then use my finger to push it in and flatten it off, and do that a couple of times until it has loaded. Is it elegant? No. Does it work? Yeah. So that is one option. I will say, at least for me, I feel like somehow for me that the everlasting tips and mud don't work as well as a regular brass tip and mud. I don't know what it is, like the mud slips out or something, it loses its stickiness faster. You know, maybe I should have given this disclaimer right up front. Take everything that I'm sharing with you with a big old grain of salt, because for every diamond painter that there is out there, there is a different style and way of diamond painting, and not just like, I prefer squares over rounds. But no, literally how I hold my pen is different from how the next person holds their pen. Like how I go about picking up drills from my tray and placing them on the canvas. Some people are more like straight up and down. Some people do it at an angle. Some people are very hard pressers. Some people are much lighter. All of those different factors are absolutely going to affect whether or not a particular wax is going to work for you. So my recommendation is, when you're trying out a new wax, give it a little bit of time. Try it for a week or two and see if it's just a matter of a learning curve. And if you're still having trouble with it, poke around YouTube. There's tons of creators that have done videos on different waxes, and we all have different suggestions and tips to share because we all are different diamond painters, which I think is super helpful to have all of those resources at our fingertips, pun intended. And check those out to see if you get some tips. And if it's still just not working for you, that is okay. There are some waxes that I cannot for the life of me get to work for me, but other people like, and that's okay. So let me grab my current whip and we'll put some drills on the canvas while I share some of my other thoughts with you about things I like and dislike about Not Your Mama's Mud. So give me just a sec. I'll be right back. All right, so we're all set up to put some drills down with our freshly loaded pen with mud in the single placer and multi-placer. We'll do a little bit of both. In case you're curious, my current whip is called Happy Whale, from legally licensed from Mary's Diamonds, and the artist Alice GH is her Instagram handle. As always, I'll link everything in the description. Not Your Mama's Mud. One of my favorite things about them is, like I said, I find that they that the mud lasts for a really long time before I need to reload. And by a really long time, I mean days, literal days. I feel like on my last whip, I only had to clean out and reload my pen like once or twice, and that was a good size canvas. So I like that. I also like that, at least for me, there's very minimal residue. Very, very minimal. Like, this is, again, a freshly loaded pen. I don't know if you can totally see. Let me move you down a little bit. And I don't see any residue on my drills whatsoever already. If you are a heavier presser, like if you press harder when you're putting drills on your canvas, you might see some of that residue. And like I said, you can just, I find that it comes off in more of a string, so you can just wipe it off. Like, I just picked it up with my fingers before. Or you can go over it with a soft bristle toothbrush when you're done. So as far as the multi-placer goes, I don't have a ton of practice with this because I don't typically use this. So picked up without any trouble. I only picked up 3. I did that on purpose. I only picked up 3. But yeah, they picked up super cleanly, laid down super cleanly. I feel like the price point on mud is good. Each of these, I feel like, is $3 or $4. And I mean, I use these heavily. I do have probably 7 or 8 different scents. Don't judge. And I am nowhere near going through all of them. And this is the only ones I've used a ton, and you can still see, like, there's so much left in there. So I feel like the price point is really good. There is a shipping charge on top of it, so I will usually get a couple of scents at once. One of the downsides for me is that she does not have a regular restocking schedule. She just sort of restocks her Etsy shop whenever she has made more wax, and usually they're not showing up as new listings. So I just have to go into my favorites and check on her shop regularly and hope that I catch when she does a restock, because she will typically sell out from her restocks within a day or two. Excuse me. So yeah, those are the things that I just sort of come to mind. Of course, it is a little bit more expensive. Well, it is more expensive than if you just use the pink wax that came with your kits. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with just using the pink wax that comes with your kits. You do not have to try alternative waxes. It's just one of those things that's nice if you want to mix it up. And for me, these do work better and last longer than the pink wax does. Along with that, I love supporting small businesses. I really enjoy working with waxes that have scents, especially I love her scents. That's a huge pro for me as well. They're not overpowering. They're usually fairly simple and clean and just have a really light scent that's still really, really pleasant. So, I mean, I have one that's like this one is cinnamon, and it's really lovely. And there's coffee, and I have some different fruity scents. I almost said flavors. Don't eat wax, friends. No, just don't. But anyway, so yes, I will go ahead and leave it there for you guys. As always, please let me know in the comments if you have any questions whatsoever about Not Your Mama's Mud. Again, that's at the shop. Her shop name is Whimsical Daisies. She also sells different cover minders and I think some other diamond painting accessories. So definitely go check her out. I'll link everything that I talked about in the description below, and feel free to check out the other videos on my series on different waxes that you can use. I hope that you're able to find something that works for you, especially if you've been struggling to get one of these waxes work for you that you hear other people talking about. So again, this is one of my very favorites, definitely one of my go-tos, and let me know if you give it a shot and how you like it. And yeah, so if this video is helpful for you, please hit the thumbs up before you click away, and I will get back to comments and questions as quickly as I can as well. If you aren't already subscribed, I'd love if you subscribed and hit the bell to be notified whenever I share new videos, which is not really on a schedule, but I'm hoping to get these wax tips and tricks and reviews videos up every couple weeks or so, just depending on how it goes when I have something I want to share. So thank you guys for watching and for hanging out with me. I hope you're having a wonderful week, and I will talk to you again next time. Bye.